Absolutely. Okay, well, thanks for being here.
I'm so
So
excited.
excited to have you here.
So good.
Wow, we made it. Okay,
Right.
so everyone, this is Lindsay. Lindsay and I were in Lauren Daly's Passion to Profit, Passion to Prosperity Academy together, and we just grew to know each other in such a beautiful way that last week I went live in her Facebook group, and now she is here to give us so much of her good knowledge and to talk all things stepping into your power, all things magical, all things amazing with you guys. So before I go any further, Lindsay, will you please introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do and what you're about?
Yeah. So my name is Lindsay Schroeder. I'm a spiritual wellness and mindset coach with the company R&R. I work with women to develop their intuition, connect to their divine feminine, and up-level their lives. I do a lot of work around mindset. I do quite a bit of work releasing limiting beliefs, getting over roadblocks, reprogramming the subconscious, and allowing women to really tap into that magic that's within themselves. So bringing forth the best version of yourself, the most authentically aligned in flow version, and allowing yourself to up level in areas that you desire. So that new job, that new way of living, entrepreneurship, a new partnership, growth in your own personal development, whatever those up levels are, we get them.
Oh, you're amazing. You're amazing. You guys, I'm also going to absolutely link your Facebook page and Facebook group within this live comment section so that people can find you, because it is all about supporting other amazing women and men that are bringing such healing services to everybody. So I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm just so grateful that our paths crossed. Honestly.
Me too.
You have expanded me in big ways. So I'm very, very, very grateful for your friendship and your guidance and all the things.
Me too, girl. Lauren is such a magical little being for bringing so many of us together and like allowing these partnerships and formations and friendships to form. Like what we got from that program was so much more than just the material.
Oh, 1,000%.
For sure.
And it was all of those little things that helped us overcome our self-limiting beliefs, because as much as we do the work, sometimes it's really helpful to have someone else helping us see things that we may have missed. So
definitely.
So grateful for that program for so many reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to jump right in?
Yeah.
All the things.
Let's talk about all the magic
things that we have to talk about, because we could talk for a long time. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to talk to you guys about today is something that Lindsay and I are both extremely passionate about, and it's how misalignments can start to manifest into your life and what that can look like. So, Lindsay, you want to take it away and kind of let everybody know, maybe even a personal experience, if you want to share a personal experience of how this happened to you, and maybe how you notice it in your clients as well.
For sure. So a couple examples of misalignments that like happen both personally and I see in my professional realm as well as with other clients is not following the gut instinct, not trusting the self, not believing in the self, not honoring those messages. So for instance, you're invited to something, or you're asked to do something at work, or someone asks you to show up for something, attend something, say yes to something, and your gut tells you maybe say no, or say you're not sure, or take some time to think about it, or maybe we would like to leave that open until the day of, and you say yes anyway because you feel like you should, and you feel like that's the correct response, and you feel like someone will judge you if you say no, you feel like someone will understand or won't respect your opinion if you say no. I think that is a big start to how misalignments start to form in the physical body and in the energetic body, is not honoring what it is that you truly want and not listening to that internal voice, that intuitive voice. And so for me, that's happened on a small scale, just saying yes to parties I didn't want to go to, knowing that it was going to be too many people, or people that I didn't want to be around or didn't want to like give my vibration or my energy to, or knowing that that's not how I would rather prioritize my time. For me, a big one is on the full moon, when I say yes to going to something and I'm like, I really just want to be home and like doing my own energetic thing, or like I want to do an event at my Kundalini yoga studio instead of going to this thing that's like very drinking focused, that's very like non-connective, shallow conversation. Whereas like on a new or a full moon, I really want to honor that like deep desire to connect with both self and others. So like that's a very small version of it. But after time, that builds and builds and creates misalignments in the body.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That is okay. So I want you to talk to them a little bit more about why is a new moon and a full moon such an important time for you to have your space? And well, we'll just start there. We'll start there.
Okay. So I really love to work with the lunar cycles for so many reasons, but even if we just go down to like the pure science of it, you see what the moon does to the tides. You see how much water is affected by the moon, by its full phase, by its new phase, as it changes, as it ebbs, as it flows. We are made of so much water. So thinking that the moon does not affect us is crazy. Like the moon moves you. The moon is responsible for so much. And then you start to partner the zodiac signs with it. You can have a new moon or a full moon in different signs. So depending on what sign you are, what sign the moon is, how those signs go together, in addition to like what a new moon represents or what a full moon represents, being consciously aware of those vibrations of like, okay, this new moon is the same as me or very different than me, or maybe this is a weak point for me or a strong point for me. And new moons are typically associated with newness, with planting seeds, with thinking through the things that you would like to achieve and where you'd like to go. And full moons are typically associated with that fullness, that celebration, that fertility, that vivaciousness that you get during that time frame. So you can kind of partner those energies together and go, this new moon is a great time to plant seeds, and it's in this sign, which is very sensitive or very emotional or very fiery or very intense or is really stoic. And then you can kind of blend those two things together and set yourself up for success. I'm going to plant seeds about moving forward, taking big independent leaps, doing these things. Or on a full moon, I'm going to really celebrate, maybe my sensitivity or my emotions, or I'm going to celebrate my fieriness and my ability to just like get it done and like believe in myself and birth creative things from me. So honoring those versions of ourselves in conjunction with the moon becomes so powerful and so impactful. It's a process that I really, really love.
You just took the words out of my mouth, honoring that part of yourself.
Yes.
Because when you honor that part of yourself, you're also living more authentically, which also helps you step away from those misalignments. So, gosh, girl, you just touched on a lot of wonderful things.
I love that.
And I'm sure that's going to be pretty expansive for other people as well, because, I mean, Mother Earth gives us the healing energy that we need. If we can tap into all of the things that she has to offer, we can heal in such profound ways. So you guys,
I agree.
If you're taking notes on that, tap into and honor those feelings that you have around new moons, around full moons, and truly give yourself permission to feel what you feel, and just understand that feeling these deeper emotions around these times of the lunar cycle is completely normal and okay. And like Lindsay said, I mean, the moon moves the tides. Of course, it's going to move you as well. So take those opportunities to really honor what comes up and see if you can show yourself a little bit more of your authenticity through those emotions that come up. You just totally tapped on to so many wonderful things.
You allow yourself to gain support from it instead of just having to deal with it. And I think that's a big part of the work that you and I do, is that we want to ride these waves and enjoy these waves of life, of experience, of ups and downs in a more holistically aligned way, so that they don't topple us. So it's not tossing us to the bottom of the ocean floor underneath the wave. It's that we're riding it, we're enjoying it, we're utilizing its power in a way that works for us individually.
Yep. A nice gentle flow, so that we don't beat ourselves up. A big thing that we do talk about in this group is something you already touched on: the power of saying no, and the power of your choice and your voice. And I mean, the whole group is called The Power of You.
Mm-hmm.
So everything
boundaries,
that you and I just,
boundaries.
yeah, boundaries, all the boundaries.
Mm-hmm. All
So
the boundaries.
with that being said, what are some good practices that either, you know, again, you have personally utilized or maybe your clients utilize to help move away from those misalignments and to move into a more aligned life?
Boundaries and saying no are two really good ones.
Yeah.
And really
Yeah.
digging into what a boundary is. So like thinking of it in that really like black and white sense of like, this is something that separates me from you. So separating your energy from other people. So many women I work with are empaths and have never been told that they're an empath, have never been trained in dealing with that beautiful and sometimes
Yep.
just toppling over capability of feeling what others are feeling, of saying yes because you feel this other person's desire or need or heat or strength or, you know, fear. And you are taking on other people's emotions and all those tiny little rips and tears in the aura, all of the things that we collect from other people that start to affect our ability to hear our own voice and our own intention. So drawing physical boundaries in the sense of separating you energetically from other people, drawing, you know, figurative boundaries in the sense of what I'm open to saying yes to, what I'm available for, what I will put up with, what I won't put up with in friendships and in relationships, and especially in familial dynamics. That's really hard. And it's something that we're taught the opposite of. We're taught that this is what you do. This is what you say yes to. This is how you show up. This is like what is thought of you, what you're supposed to do, what is expected of you. And realigning that, revisiting that, and digging in for yourself and determining what works for you and what doesn't, and drawing that boundary and saying no when things don't serve you is a very, very important part of that like energy management.
Yeah. Absolutely. We have both been there before.
Oh,
and work through it all the time. I mean, it's a constant thing. Boundaries become easier, as I'm sure you experience this too. As you begin to set those boundaries, they do become easier to continually set. And at the beginning, I personally remember how hard it was to start saying no and how hard it was to start setting boundaries. So like you said, you have to come back and remind yourself what's best for you. And maybe, okay, if you have a piece of advice or a nugget of knowledge or some kind of wisdom to give the people in this group, why is it so important to choose yourself? What is your answer to that?
You can't support anyone else unless you choose yourself. So you cannot pour from an empty cup. And like you cannot pour into anything from an empty cup. So it's not just, oh, I want to support my friend and say yes in this, but it's if I don't have a full cup, if I'm not taking care of myself and filling what it is that I need first, I can't support my business. I can't support my abundance. I can't support my partner. I can't support my friends. Can't support my family. I can't support the growth that I want. I can't support my hobbies. I can't support my interests. I can't support my life in a fulfilled manner. And so you have to look at self first. And it's not selfish. And working through that selfish piece of like, oh, we're women. We're supposed to fall on our sword for other people. We're supposed to put ourselves last. We're supposed to burn out. We're supposed to, should. And that does not serve us. That does not serve anyone else either. We think that doing that, bending over backwards, burning ourselves out for other people serves others, but it does not. And really starting to pull that apart and like disprove that belief system is an important place to start.
Yeah. You're amazing. You're powerful. You're amazing. And I'm just so happy to have you in this group because everything that you just said, I completely 100% feel and again have experienced, and that's what I'm so passionate about giving out to other people is letting them be their own authority figure. So that's where we get to tap into self as the authority. What does that actually mean? Because like you said, we're taught as women that throughout our entire lives, it's all about serving, caring for, nurturing, loving, but it's always for other people. So when do we get that switch in our brain when we think, oh no, I don't have to listen to everything else that is being told and that is being taught to me. I need to listen to myself. I am my own authority figure. When do you feel like that switch happens?
I think it's different for everyone. And I think that's why, like, one of the many reasons why you and I are so passionate about the work that we do. Because if something that we say, if something that we offer, if some live stream, if some coaching program, if some one-on-one session can be that switch for someone, we want to offer that as soon as possible, as loud as possible, in as many facets and ways and shapes and forms, because it's important to have that moment, to flip that switch and to realign to that true message of I am the conscious creator, I am the authority. And like, instead of consuming always from others, learning to lead from that sacred place of self, of not just I listen to someone else and they tell me that I get to choose this, or I get to do this, or I get to say this, but I'm choosing that for myself. And so a lot of the work that both of us do really supports that, in flipping that switch and allowing women to see when that switch is flipped, and then supporting the integration of what that means to have that switch flipped.
Absolutely. What does that feel like, or what have you experienced that to feel like? What is living your authentic life in your magic, in your power, with yourself as an authority? What does that feel like for you?
Well, it feels very blissful. That's the first thing. So like, in the positive, it feels really wonderful. It's just like a flow, a fulfillment, a vivaciousness, a joie de vivre that you can't achieve in other ways. That is what I'm told, how I'm supposed to act, what is right, what others are doing. But then in the more shadow aspect, when I go through heavier things come up that I might have experienced previously in victim mode, that might have toppled me over, that might have brought me to rock bottom, that I ride those waves with more ease and with more grace, where I'm looking for the message and the lesson, instead of feeling like, oh, woe is me, the world is happening to me, everything's against me, and I have no power. That I am able to retain my power in those situations and move through them with less strife and struggle and pain and anguish and grief, and that I feel capable of holding myself accountable to that conscious creator position through any of those moments, not just when it's easy, not just when it's flowing in my way, not just when it's a lesson that I've already learned that makes sense to me, but even in those new treacherous, this is new moments.
Right. You feel like you have the tools because you started to develop these systems that help you constantly come back to yourself and choose alignment. And so that when you go through those hard, crappy moments, you realize that it is a lesson and there's no punishment in it. I love what you said about the switch from victim mentality to looking at every single lesson or every single moment as a lesson. I think that is such a profound switch for healing. And this is something that we absolutely should touch on, is that the universe doesn't punish us if we open our eyes to it. Every single thing is a learning opportunity. But I know that that's really hard for people to grasp at first. And
and us
if you're
included.
making that switch from